All right. Alex. Okay. Yo. What is up?
How you living? How you feeling? How you doing?
There it is. Ed was hiding. I just figured I needed to step in and take the swing.
Peekaboo.
I was just playing follow the leader.
And Alex, you're doing the same thing.
Am I a leader? Is that what you're calling me? I feel good.
No, I was just following what you were doing. Also, leaders can be bad. Keep that.
True.
Leaders can be bad like quarterbacks. Some quarterbacks are terrible.
That is.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about our quarterbacks and tight ends rankings within the AFC Conference. So
just get this shit over with. This sucks.
Yeah, let's just cut to the intro.
This was not fun.
All right.
I said, baby, I am not the one to play with. Ain't the type to give up, I'm driven and motivated. I just want some recognition and some compensation. But this ain't about the money and it ain't about the fame. I got lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
All right. We're back. We're back to back. Back to back. Yeah. Back to back. Quarterbacks.
Oh, do you know who's back to back? 1 and 2? Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes.
For me and you, not for Alex.
Well, in either situation, they're back to back at 1 and 2 in overall quarterbacks.
That is
the
valid.
whole NFL. Yeah. They're back to back.
Supposedly not, according to the NFL Top 100. I don't know if you've seen that. Mahomes was, I think, behind Russell Wilson as a quarterback in the NFL.
How do they have How do they have them under Aaron Donald? Like, that's not even any disrespect to Aaron Donald, but he doesn't play quarterback. How are you going to leave Carson Wentz off that list?
Yeah, that
I didn't notice that. That's wild.
Wentz, that was
Prescott
a surprise
was 46th, and Wentz was not. Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
That's not even Eagles.
You guys just wait
here. That Wentz brought us to the playoffs.
He did more than Prescott with less. I don't think you have to say anything more than that. He had less to work with than Dak Prescott, and yet they made the playoffs, and the Cowboys did.
Who creates that list? The players?
It's voted on by players.
Yeah. That's insane.
But they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Goes to show that Carson Wentz is just a shitty quarterback. Let's be real.
The disrespect is there.
No, it was a joke. Did you guys see that he actually decided to opt into the season after him and his wife prayed and they felt good about it? That's what
I mean, he just had a kid, so.
Yeah, but
it was why he wouldn't want to show up. But, hey,
I didn't even know that was a headline. I didn't know he was debating it actually. But nice to see him back.
Sure.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just get into these quarterbacks of the AFC. As we were talking about, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Obviously, me and Brandon have them as Lamar Jackson 1, Patrick Mahomes 2, but Alex does not agree on that end. So what's your explanation, I guess, or reasoning?
Because Patrick Mahomes is just batshit crazy, and I feel like a full season of him will result in good results.
It's fair. It's fair.
Lamar is pretty close to. I'll just take Mahomes because I feel like it's easier to stop a guy from running than it is to stop a guy from throwing. A lot of Lamar's value comes from his ability as a runner.
Do you think it's harder to stop Lamar Jackson's legs than it is to stop Mahomes' arms? You think that?
Yes. We have seen teams successfully stop Lamar Jackson.
Okay,
both times he's been in the playoffs.
I get what you're saying, but I agree.
I've yet to see a team stop Mahomes from shitting on them. San Francisco did it for 3 quarters, and then he went nuts.
But we're speaking fantasy football, and rushing quarterbacks are always a cheat code. And that's why you guys, I bet, have Josh Allen ahead of Ryan Tannehill. Is that your reasoning?
Right on that.
Because Josh Allen and his rushing ability.
I mean, Allen
why
was
not
QB6
apply that
last year, so.
to
based on
future Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
Yeah. You're wrong.
Because I would take Mahomes over Jackson.
Okay.
To each their
own. That makes sense.
Also, Jackson has never had an injury scare, but maybe he spins out of a tackle one of these times and just gets fucking laid out.
Maybe Mahomes dislocates his kneecap again or something.
Yeah, again, that very well could happen.
There's
I'm
fluke
just saying I'm more comfortable
and,
with Mahomes than I am with Jackson. That's not to say I'd be unhappy with Jackson.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't draft either of them.
Yeah, because your strategy, which makes sense.
Quarterback off the board.
Yeah, Alex's strategy is very straightforward. No quarterbacks until like the last few rounds, if that. He might just go with
I'll start looking quarterback around like round 8 or 9 if like the right guy's there.
I agree. 8 or 9 is probably my perfect.
If I'm in a specific situation and I'm sitting at a spot in the draft and say Lamar Jackson falls, I wouldn't be against taking him. It's just like if
it better be like the very end.
Like if a tight end fell, I'd be willing to take a tight end.
Yeah, if it's like the end of the third, I'd
like the fourth, like probably not. I'm just not feeling it.
And I'm not feeling Watson this year. I know he's third on my list, but it's honestly in my mind, it's not as far of a catch as Ryan Tannehill. He's within range.
I mean, to me, Watson and Tannehill are actually mildly close.
I doubt that.
I feel that way.
I think Watson and Allen are similarly close, but not close enough for Allen to where I expect Allen to finish above Watson. If it happens, I'd be like, wow, that's kind of surprising.
I mean, I wouldn't because Allen was QB6 last year, so to me that shows
Allen's arm is also shot. He has no arm. I mean, he has a strong arm, but he has no accuracy.
Yeah,
that's true. I agree with Josh Allen being a great rusher. Like, he's the second best quarterback in rushing in the NFL. It's obvious. Deshaun Watson's legs, you can't take that away from him, though. And couple that with the fact that he does still have weapons. Just because he lost DeAndre Hopkins doesn't mean his offense is shit. And the offensive line is probably going to improve after another year of experience, as they just got Laramie Tunsil at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
And they got their rookie tackle last year as well. I believe it was last year. I mean, they're just going to keep on improving. And Deshaun Watson is a capable quarterback to take that team that they have. Brandon Cook's not a scrub. Will Fuller's not a scrub. He gets injured occasionally or often, but he's not a scrub all the time, yeah. And Randall Cobb's a great signing in my eyes because, I mean, it opens up the underneath. And Randall Cobb
gave him way too much money.
For sure. It's definitely way too much money. I mean, I don't think Bill O'Brien knows what he's doing with spending. As far as personnel, I think he's understanding what he's doing. And I like David Johnson as well this year. And I think Deshaun Watson has plenty of weapons, a decent enough O-line, and his legs are another weapon to his game. And I think he's definitely going to finish as a top 5 quarterback as he's getting drafted as quarterback 6 right now. I think he's definitely going to finish top 5.
Yeah, but to me, Watson at top 5 and Tannehill is a top 10 quarterback. I don't really see a whole lot of difference in there, especially when Watson's going in like round 5 or 6 or something like that. And I could snag Tannehill in 14.
I don't think Tannehill's a top 10 quarterback in fantasy this year.
I think he will be. Actually, no. I think he'll be at quarterback 1. I
think he's on the fringe.
We haven't done the NFC yet, so now that I think about it, probably not. But
I think it's going to be 12, 13-ish.
Top 12-ish is fine by me.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill also has the ability to rush because in 2019
he was a converted receiver. We don't really need to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
33 rushing attempts and 4 touchdowns.
I think they try to use him as a passer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he put up QB1 numbers in Tennessee, so I don't know. I feel like people are hating on the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think their offensive line as a pass blocking unit is piss poor, and they lost Jack Conklin, which obviously is a star tackle, but he's still a tackle nonetheless. And adds another question mark into that team. And I think obviously as being a run-heavy team, I think Ryan Tannehill's efficiency is what just obviously it's what pushed him up over the mountain top last year. But I don't know if I can see that repeating. And I just don't see this Titans offense being as efficient as it was last year overall. So, I mean, I can't really take Ryan Tannehill as a top 10 quarterback. I just can't. I like Cam Newton over him just because of the fact that I still believe in Cam Newton. And I believe in that Patriots offense, though it was piss poor last year. I think they can open up a new playbook. As far as what, from Tom Brady to Cam Newton? That's an obvious, yeah.
All right, well, if their offense sucked and you're downgrading a quarterback,
they're down. Okay, this is what you got to take. It's not a two-dimensional game, Alex. Okay, so taking a player and decreasing their overall talent does not necessarily mean the offense is going to be anemic this year. They can change the entire playbook, and you wouldn't know that. I mean, they went from Joe Flacco to the Ravens went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson, just like that. And I mean, who thought Lamar Jackson was going to be that good? Nobody.
Me.
And they changed.
I thought that.
Okay.
I was screaming that during the draft.
Good for you. Well, a lot of people didn't think that he was going to be that.
It's because people are dumb. It's because he's black. That's why they didn't like him. That is clear as fucking day. He was amazing at Louisville.
You're not wrong. But
don't want to get me started. That shit pissed me off so much coming into the draft.
Alex, did you think he was going to be the quarterback one, say, after his 1 full year of playing football in the NFL?
Did I think? No. If you told me that, would I have been like, oh, absolutely not? No, because he was a two-way force.
So is Cam Newton. He's a two-way force.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not Lamar Jackson.
I'm not
At
saying
least
Lamar
not
Jackson.
now in his career.
Yeah, also, again, I'm sticking with
definitely
I
not
don't
now.
think Newton is going to play a full season, so I can't put him on my list.
That's just harsh. I mean, you're going to have Ben Roethlisberger over him? I don't know. No shot in my eyes that happens.
I don't really think that's too
That's why I have Joe Burrow at 8.
I can't put – all right, I know I was going to have to explain this at some point because it affected my rankings. We haven't done rankings for a little bit, and, like, that was back when I tried to not take into account the whole COVID situation. But after seeing the, like, tire fire that baseball is turning into, I have to acknowledge it. A lot of these guys are – like, I think Burrow is going to be at a massive disadvantage. He's going to be strolling into his first NFL game with literally 0 live action.
That's fair.
Probably with, like, a rookie left tackle if Jonah Williams is playing left tackle.
They brought in Brandon Allen, though, as a quarterback, so maybe he starts the season off because, he's so talented. John Elway thinks so. I mean –
Listen, I like – you guys should know I like Burrow, but he scares me putting him there because, like, that Cincinnati scares me just because of the inexperience they have playing together and the fact that they're not going to get to play together until the freaking season starts. I would also like to go on the record now and say I don't think this season's going to finish.
Do you think it's not going to go full 16-plus playoffs? How long do you think
unless they, like, make a lot of changes. I don't know. To me, like, the thing's just going to go off the rails. Like, I'm watching baseball, and baseball's already turning into a freaking disaster.
I get the idea of, like, I would love for them to do something like the NBA, which you can't really do because of the number of people that they have. But I feel like an idea similar like that, it would be so beneficial. It would just make the most sense.
My thoughts on it is it should go by franchise. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, they should be held responsible for creating a mini bubble. That is buying a hotel and keeping that for players and staff.
It's not.
And away teams who fly in can stay at that hotel.
No, I don't think that's logistically sound.
Well, yeah.
You can't.
Plus,
the players aren't
in
going.
the long run,
That's essentially what they're doing, Brandon. They're essentially just hoping the players take precautions and don't go out. But that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Guys are going to be going out. Like, that's going to be the problem. Like,
that's why I like the NBA's idea because, like, they
the NBA did have a good idea, and the benefit to the NBA is that they had an area with a bunch of basketball courts together where they could reasonably do that.
Yeah.
Show me a spot where there's 9 football fields, like NFL regulation football fields, just kind of.
Well, that's what I think they should make them all over the nation. I feel like they should have a few spots, not like just one or not just 2. I feel like they should have probably 6. Maybe something like that. 6 places around the world.
If you have 5 bubbles with 6 teams apiece, are you going to have those 6 teams play other teams, or are you just going to have those 6 teams?
No, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of questionable because you still have to travel outside to
moving them effectively pops the bubble.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very questionable thing, and obviously they have the millionaires and billionaires making decisions for them.
They're kind of screwed in that. If this goes on, it's going to be a mess. But it's going to be a mess that I will be watching.
Oh, 100%.
As we all will.
Yeah, that's the main focus right now in the world outside of COVID. I guess we're over the quarterbacks, unless you guys want to talk about any of these low-tier quarterbacks with Baker Mayfield, Drew Lock.
Honestly, After 5, it was a struggle. I'm putting Mayfield there because of like Kevin Stefanski. I think he'll be a good influence, and he's got a lot of weapons there, so I feel like it's about damn time. Same with Drew Lock at 7, and I guess to an extent Roethlisberger at 8. Part of it is just that like I don't expect him to be as adversely affected by this as a guy like Burrow would be.
Yeah, understandable. I like Mayfield a little bit this year, not as a probably like a top 15 quarterback. Odell, like you've seen it last year, injured, hobbled. Even numbers show that he wasn't as efficient or just wasn't as talented as he was in years past due to injury and whatnot. Plus his first year in the system, first year in Cleveland, like a bunch of reasons. And I think with another year under his belt in Cleveland, getting back to full health after surgery, I just think that's going to help Mayfield a lot. Plus you add in a new scheme. That might add some question marks, especially with the shortened off season, but I think Baker Mayfield has the intelligence and just the weapons overall in the offense with Kevin Stefanski's big brain over there. I think they should be able to do well this year in Cleveland. Drew Lock, I don't really have much to say about the man. Ton of weapons. Pat Shermer likes to pass the ball a lot. He could possibly be one of those sneaky late-round quarterbacks.
Drew Lock is my favorite late-round quarterback. If I can snag him up, I mean, why not? He is.
You like that swagger?
He is. That swagger that Lock has, that he brings to my fantasy team. You see Drew Lock in there, pair him with Jerry Jeudy. Oh, just imagine what other weapons you've got. Wide receiver.
Sure.
Hopefully something, considering those guys are going at the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah. If Drew Lock lights it up, Jerry Jeudy's going to light it up. So.
I'll remember this.
And Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton, I think he's I'm liking him more.
Yeah, I like him a good bit.
Yeah.
All right. Alex, anything else in these quarterbacks, or are we on to the tight ends?
Let's make that.
We're on to the tight ends.
On to the tight end rankings of the AFC Conference. By the way, we did top 8 in quarterback and tight ends, in case you were curious. Tight ends. Everybody has Travis Kelce as a 1. It's pretty clear, pretty obvious. Now, Alex, Darren Waller at 2. I was interested in doing the same thing with Darren Waller at 2, but I decided to go Marc Andrews for a couple of reasons. But would you like to explain why you have Darren Waller at 2 first?
I like that decision.
I'm still a big Marc Andrews fan, and to me, the top 3 in the AFC, to me, there's a massive gap between them and everyone else. But Andrews led the league in touchdowns led tight ends in touchdowns last year. We've seen that could be a inconsistent stat. And Darren Waller, I guess Marc Andrews is also like their number 1 receiver, but the Raiders have more of a passing offense, and I think the additions that Oakland made are going to help Waller because he's their number 1 receiver. It's not going to be Ruggs, it's not Williams, it's not any other asshole. It's Waller, and a guy like Ruggs helps, I think, Waller more than it does anyone else because it just gives him more space to operate. And Andrews, I think, will have another fantastic season. This is only his 3rd year, but I'm giving the slight edge to Waller there.
That's fair. I mean, I like Waller as a volume receiver practically. It's what he is, a tight end. Andrews obviously didn't have – I mean, he had a decent amount of volume last year, but nothing compared to Darren Waller. And Andrews' touchdown rate was pretty insane.
I mean, if he gets like 7 touchdowns next year, you could see him drop a few spots.
And also
Darren Waller gets his touchdowns up.
Yeah. Looking back in Raiders history,
why I have Waller.
I mean, Jared Cook did the same thing. He let it up. Darren Waller replaced him. He's going to repeat.
I mean, that's a valid thing. Yeah, you like the black and silver. That's my West Coast team or AFC Conference team, as we were talking about last episode. But yeah, that's a valid explanation. I like Marc Andrews just because of the fact that he has, I mean, Lamar Jackson throwing the ball. Plus, the offense is just very high-powered. He's seen a lot of targets last year. I think he probably led – I don't know off the top of my head. This is probably just a guess, but I think Marc Andrews probably led that team in targets.
I mean, regardless of whether he did or not, he's clearly like their number 1 pass option.
Oh, yeah, number 1 pass option. The tight end with Lamar Jackson is a beautiful combo. And, clearly a red zone favorite with all those touchdowns last year. I don't expect the team to be as efficient, like I said, as last year. And Marc Andrews may see a downtick in efficiency, but it's not going to really affect his overall production. I'm gonna probably say he's a top 5 tight end this year. No doubt in my mind about that one. All right. Well,
on to number
Hooper at 4.
Yeah, I see we all have Hooper and Henry in some combo at 4 and 5. I didn't even know how to place these guys. I just put them there because I felt like they deserved to be there. I didn't want to put either of them there.
Really? I mean,
Those
I know
they're just
Brandon
so like,
really,
to me. You know, I don't like those mid-round tight ends like those two. They're just like, why would I do that?
I understand with Hunter Henry. Austin Hooper, in my mind, is a little different story.
He's not to me.
And if you've seen past episodes, everyone knows why Austin Hooper is my fantasy darling this year.
I know I just said good things about Cleveland, but anyone goes into Cleveland is subject to like the new Cleveland smell.
Well, yeah.
I'm skeptical of him.
Jonnu Smith, I really like the man.
I like Jonnu Smith too. I'm surprised you didn't include him, Alex.
Yeah, I was too.
Jonnu
Athletic tight end. Like
he's used all over the field too. He's used on jet sweeps like Deebo Samuel.
He's had like 4 good games in like a 3-year career or something like that.
What's the?
I mean, he was behind
pass
Delaney Walker.
options?
Yeah, I know.
Pass options. AJ Brown, Adam Humphrey, and
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis.
It's not a huge passing offense.
I mean, that is too. That's the thing. The passing volume is pretty low in that offense. But I mean, he's used all over the field. He's not just used as a receiver. Like I said, he's used as a running back, which is weird. But it's just.
I don't think he's a bad pick. I just won't be picking.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel safe with him. I feel safer with Gesicki and Font. And
you feel safer with Eric Ebron as well.
That's their one. You'd have Eric Ebron as your one, like tight end.
Well, ideally, I would pair Ebron with a guy like Gesicki.
So,
why
not do that with Jonnu Smith?
Because I feel better about Gesicki than I do about Smith.
Wait,
I want to
Smith?
see it more.
Oh, Jonnu. Okay, fair. Okay, understandable. I mean, I get it too because Miami's passing offense is probably going to be high.
Also, I saw Gesicki do like pretty solid at the end of last year, so I expect him to continue that. He's a very athletic guy.
He's very athletic. You're not wrong.
I don't like Penn State. I like him coming out of Penn State, so it's nice to see him do good.
Penn State got another nice tight end coming out next year. Font does. I mean, I'm just wary of the offense over there. Like the amount of receivers that they have, too many mouse feeds. So it's a bad statement. It's a bad reasoning. But I mean, plus Drew Lock, I haven't seen it from he hasn't put things together yet. Sure, he could do that week 1 for all I know. But I just at the moment
I did think about putting Smith on the list in favor of Font, and I think another guy too who I can't remember, so maybe that invalidates my statement. But if you made me choose between Smith and Font, I would take Font. I don't really feel great about either, but I would take Font. And I just keep mentioning Ebron because I just think he's a candidate for some positive regression.
That's fair. I mean,
he's not injured this year. He should be on a team where he gets passing opportunities, and Roethlisberger likes throwing tight ends.
The last time I seen a top 12 tight end per se from Pittsburgh I think it was Heath Miller.
I mean, that's been the last time since they had a decent tight end.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I get that, but I still like the tight ends that they did have, and they used them decently, and they performed pretty well. Jesse James, Ladarius Green, whenever he played.
Jesse James sucks. Vance McDonald is just a guy.
Oh yeah, Vance McDonald is definitely just a guy, no doubt about that. But
that's my hope is that McDonald is a blocking tight end, and they put Ebron on the field as a receiver, and he can do with Roethlisberger what he did with Andrew Luck.
Or maybe Claypool becomes their tight end. Who knows? That would be an interesting move. All right. Any other statements, questions, concerns about quarterbacks, tight ends, boys?
I'm good.
None here.
All right. Well, that was our AFC Conference quarterbacks and tight ends rankings. So drop your comments down below which ones you like, which ones you disliked. Lamar Jackson, Patty Mahomes, which one you taking? Like, comment, subscribe. First Fantasy signing out. Deuces.
All right. Later on.